What's good, y'all? It's your boy Dior. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Dior, and y'all tuned into Jigga Set Radio.
Where you see that on the internet? Nah, I was listening to Jigga Set. Oh, I be listening to every show, keeping me on in the know. Jigga Set Radio. Where you see that on the internet? Nah, I was listening to Jigga Set. Oh, I be listening to every show, keeping me on in the know. Jigga Set Radio.
Welcome to another episode of Jigga Set Radio, y'all. We're here with another guest on the show. Y'all make some noise for Dior. He is here. He's so nervous, but he's here. There he is. Welcome to the show. I had to actually prep him up a little bit because, for one, he hasn't eaten in like the last couple of days, but he's also drinking, so this might actually get really interesting. But like I was telling him, like I tell all my guests on the show, that we're just talking about you. And he said he's not really good at it, but we're going to figure it out today. So welcome to the show. Everyone's glad to see you and have you. The visuals and the audio will be released on all the major platforms. So they're going to see your nice, beautiful face in every capacity. So we're going to start with the basics. Tell the world who you are.
Told you. Okay, so I'm Dior. That's what I go by, Dior Valentine. On all platforms. Who I am, I'm a black male.
Okay.
But no, I pole dance, I instruct, and my goal is to promote body positivity. So,
Okay. All right, so let's talk about body positivity for a second. What led you into this movement or desire to promote body positivity? Was there, in your childhood, was there like body shaming involved, or someone that you saw growing up that was struggling to accept themselves? What made you want to go down that path of body shaming or body promote? What was the word again? The phrase?
Body positivity.
Body positivity. You don't even want to know what I was about to say. Body positivity. So what made you go on this journey of promoting that?
Since I was a child, I always stayed naked. I got some baby photos. I'm nothing but in like diapers and wouldn't keep shirts on. Even some, when I was a child, like a, I ain't gonna say child. Yeah, child.
Yeah, a child.
Shirt off, body out. Even though, like, my mom, she always told me to keep my shirt on because I had a sister. But when I started living by myself, then it was like, I'm outside.
Okay. So let's talk. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I like looking at me, so I don't know. And I grew up with, and most of my friends deal with not used to showing their skin, but that was never one of my struggles. So I'm like, why not?
Okay. What level of confidence over the years did you have to build up to be where you are now, just being completely comfortable? I'm pretty sure there's been some moments in time where when you were more exposed, of course that makes you more vulnerable. So there's moments in time where you don't always feel as confident. So during those moments, what do you do to recenter yourself?
Huh? I ain't never had that moment, I don't think.
Really? Okay.
I always had a nice body. I always wanted to show it off, and I started dancing. I've been wanting to dance. I went through some times when I was in a relationship where showing my body was one of the biggest arguments. Like, once that situation played itself out, and I started doing it for me and started learning to love myself again, I think it put me in a place where either accept me for who I am or you don't accept me at all.
Exactly. Okay.
So that's how I get by.
Okay. Intimidation, would that be a word that can be used by individuals that are not as prideful about their body? Have you ever seen someone or been approached by someone that may come off as a hater, but maybe they're just intimidated by how well put together you are with the whole concept of body positivity?
Yes, I had some haters. People always gonna hate. But it never fazed me. I've never been the person to care about what other people say.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, you gotta put your poker face on, even though you're going through like the worst time of your life.
Yeah.
You still gotta smile and keep moving. Like,
okay. All right. Going back to your childhood, because we really we trying to get to know him, y'all. So going back to your childhood, like where were you born and raised? What area, the sector of the country? Like where were you born and raised?
I was born in the South. I'm from the South.
From the-
I know y'all say Dallas is the South. It ain't.
So what city?
It's Carthage, just a small little town.
What's the closest major city?
Jackson.
Mississippi.
Jackson.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So we got Mississippi in the house. So tell us about growing up in the country, in the South. Since you say Dallas ain't the South, tell us about growing up in the South as a child.
I don't know. I caught hell. But everything I went through, it was to make me a better person. Like the way my family raised us, like we were like country people are raised to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of city people wouldn't understand it. Planting, going, mowing the grass, doing everything on your own. That's where my family came from. We did everything on our own.
Mm-hmm.
From gardens to planting flowers to everything. I don't know.
Do you feel like that skill set should be something that a lot of people should have, being self-sufficient, being able to, having that Southern hospitality, being humble? Do you feel like you want to see that out of more people? Or is that just something like, hey, it's not for everybody?
It ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. Because it ain't for me. But I was supposed to go through it. Like now, that's why I stay in an apartment, because I don't have to cut no grass. I don't have to do no flowers, no extra stuff. I'm staying in the country. My grandpa, he did mechanic work. I was out there helping him change tires, helping him load vehicles on trucks and trailers. That ain't for me.
Yeah.
I know how to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
I can say I know how to do it. It's an experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like growing up as a child, it actually helped benefit me to know
Absolutely.
how things work in life.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go through hard times, it don't affect me as much because I've been through worse.
Exactly. Do you feel that's where, just talking about what I've noticed from his personality, the humbleness, do you feel like that had, what you exude in that capacity had to come from your upbringing? Because people that's in the country, they don't really talk, what I've noticed, they don't really talking about themselves. They're very grateful for what they have. They work very hard for what they have. And then they enjoy just being able to help other people. So would you say that that's ingrained in you at the core?
I'll say yes. I still believe in working hard. I've been having 2 jobs since I was 17.
Okay.
So a lot of people like, do you only just dance? I was like, nah, I do a lot more stuff. It was like, when are you not free? I have free time, but I also know that you gotta work for everything that you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm a strong believer of working for what I want.
Yeah, absolutely.
And getting what I want.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. So we talked about your childhood a bit. We talked about your core personality. There are 2 different sides to you that we also need to talk about, because you mentioned this individual that have basically like I don't say 0 fucks, but like more so like he doesn't care about what other people think about him. And so is that core Dior, or is that the government? Because there's two different personalities I'm feeling right now that I'm getting from you. And it could be the government, but it also could be both. But I feel like one gives more energy than the other, and I've seen it in action. So
it's always big Gemini energy. You don't never know what we feeling.
oh my god, oh my god, we talk about signs a lot on the show. You can have that as Gemini. It's 2 sides, as I stated coming into it. I said it's at least 2 sides.
But I definitely would say Dior is more social. That's me when I'm dancing. Like, I'm in my free space, stress free, don't have to worry about anything. Mm-hmm. I'm more talkative, I'm more down to earth than you probably like me more as Dior.
Okay.
As Kendall in my everyday life, I'm about my business. I'm a businessman first. So
government.
It's all about what I can do to better myself. I mean, because I ain't always been the best person, man.
Okay, so when you say you haven't always been the best person, what does that mean? Not always made the best choices, certain relationships that you probably could have done better, but you just let it go because maybe your mentality then just...
It was hard.
Yeah, okay. It's okay. So recognizing there is an evolution in a growth, a maturity, a maturation rather, in your whole process is known as life, the whole journey known as life. So what would you say, Dior, is your I had to do it. What would you say is one of the biggest life lessons you've learned to date? And granted, he's not that old, y'all, if y'all couldn't tell.
I feel old. My biggest life lesson, I would say, is enjoy the moment, because it's going to be some good moments, it's going to be some bad moments. Enjoy them all, because it's going to help you grow. You go through things to help you be stronger. That's all I have to say.
But you also mentioned being a businessman, being an entrepreneur. And being an entrepreneur that's a whole different type of energy that's involved. You literally have to have a more thicker spine than most people that are 9-to-5ing, that only know and only care to be 9-to-5. And no one's knocking that, by the way. It's not built for everybody. But like,
I don't think it's for me.
So
no matter what job
why do you
get,
say that? What, the 9-to-5 or the entrepreneurship?
9-to-5.
Okay, so why do you say that? And I'm glad you say that, because people be like, it's a job, but why do you feel
it's a job? It ain't a career. I don't know, no matter what job it is, no matter how much money they're paying. I even took a pay cut with my new job. I took a pay cut to work at this job to be like a little more free.
Yeah.
But I never they gave me this survey and asked me, where do I see myself in a couple of years? I don't have an answer for that, because I can't see myself working in that field for that long. Yeah. No matter what job I get, I just can't see myself working there for. People be saying I've been here 18 years. I can't never see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just my passions overloading. Maybe I'm still dreaming. I don't know. But
no, so it's cool that you said that. It's interesting. I say cool, but it's really interesting that he said that, because the younger generation, so like the millennials and then going to the younger generation, we have this ideology that, yeah, there's more than one way to get money. Our parents and grandparents knew of the way of, you gotta work hard, 9-to-5, whatever case is, and then you get a paycheck and then you retire off of that eventually years later down the line. Now for me, that bothers me, because you give all, especially the ones that say with one or two companies their entire life, like it bothers me, because like you're just a pawn. You're literally just a pawn. The company collapses, if they decide to do layoffs, literally they don't really care that you work X amount of years for them. Right. They're just gonna get rid of you because you're a liability or you're costing the company too much, whatever the case is. But in our generation, it's okay, but there's more than one way to make money outside of a 9-to-5. And once you find that passion and you see that your passion can become mainstream and it can make you money if you really focus and do what's non-traditional for the 9-to-5, then you can make it somewhere in the world. And so, have you ever had a conversation with your parents that was like, oh, you need to figure out something with the job, and you're like, that's not me? Have you had that talk with them?
Yes, I have. Like my mom, she was like, just stick the job out, just go back. When I was going through, like, I did something called a birthday tour, so I was going to different cities, traveling, dancing, and I knew that I had enough time to take off at the time, but they took my time when I went to like military duties. And I was like, are y'all gonna get my time back or what? They never gave my time back, but I was taking off regardless because I knew that's what I had to do for me. Yeah. So my mom was like, my supervisor, she was calling me. I was like, I'm not gonna answer because I know I wasn't planning on going back. She was like, just answer, let her know what's going on or whatever. I was like, look, I don't know, I don't want to let her down. I know if I go back to work, they're probably gonna fire me, so it's just pointless. So I just know this a wrap. Yeah. My mom, she believe in working hard, and that's what she does. She at the same job for a good little minute. Mm-hmm. But I always been a rebel child, so I always go against the grain. So yeah. And I'm not going like completely left, but I like to take my own path. Like I know what works best for me. Yeah. And I feel like I'm the one working this job, and I see a lot of people older, and they have been working these jobs 30 years, and soon they ain't useful no more. Or they can just hire somebody else for your job position and pay you less. Pay you less. You always a replacement. So I feel like if I'm doing my own thing, it's nobody that can replace me. Exactly. It's always somebody that can compete with me, but they can never beat me. So exactly. Yeah. No. And that's a great explanation, by the way. That's great. Thank you for providing that, because it's all true. Like literally, like in today's day and age, working 9 to 5 doesn't seem as like glamorous as back in the day used to be. And as much money as you want to make, and people that's watching, if you guys are a full 9 to 5, again, we're not knocking it. If it works for you, hey,
It works for you.
Right.
But I also, putting myself in that same camp, I know that a 9 to 5 for me is a means to just getting a paycheck, but ultimately I have no desire to be working for a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life at all. I'm just doing what I have to do right now. And tomorrow I have to go to that 9 to 5. And so I'm enjoying this time right now that I got. I'm reclaiming it. So we started talking about a little bit about your passions that are not involved with your 9 to 5. So you mentioned having a dance studio or wanting a dance studio or dancing, so pole dancing. So let's hear a bit more about that, how you got into that, because you said you loved your body growing up. You barely like wearing clothes. And so leading to now being comfortable in the skin that you are in, and at an early age, might I add, what would you say led to this company that you have that involves dancing on the pole? Let's hear about that.
So it originally started like when I was younger. So I think it was like 6th grade, something like that. I wanted to cheer.
Okay.
But my mom was completely against it because she was like, I'm not paying that $2,000 for you to go cheer. I'm not doing it. I mean, I played basketball at the time. Like, I always played sports. I played basketball, ran track, cross country, whatever. I want to cheer. I can tumble then, and no one ever taught me how to tumble. Mm-hmm. So when I went to college, I think I was 19. When I started, I was 18 or 19 when I started taking tumbling classes. Okay. I don't know if it is like gymnastics, you just flipping and stuff. And I became a cheerleader. Okay. And by working there, I was coaching this guy. He's older now, but he was his mom owned the studio, and it was a pole studio. She gave us free classes. Okay. Shout out to Epic Dance and Fitness. Okay. So that's why I started my pole journey. When I went in there, I was like, oh, this is hard. Me and my friend, Therese, we used to be on the pole. In the club, we didn't have no technique. So when I started training, it was like hard. I started off in beginners, but then most of the beginner moves I couldn't do. But they give me something more advanced, I do it. It was crazy. I actually took to that, and I don't know, I just started doing it like more frequently, and I started being good at it. So I was teaching pole, cheering, and doing pole dance. Yeah. Okay, and then I had a situation where I went through a breakup.
So you were in a relationship during that time when you became a cheerleader?
Yeah, I was in a relationship.
Okay.
And we went through a bad breakup like a couple years later. I had joined the military and everything like that. Don't ask me why. It's crazy.
I was going to ask you why, actually. Was it because you're looking for a level of discipline? Were you looking for something structured?
My ex was in the military as well, so I had this whole little story built up in my head. But things didn't play out how I did. Me and them are still cool. Okay. So it was no bad blood, but at the same time, it was like to the point where most of our arguments came from me being live, posting thirst traps, as he would say, thirst traps. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like there was thirst traps because I was just expressing myself. During that time, I didn't know how to explain it. But I was just still finding myself, I would say. Okay. I already knew most of the time it was like a no-go between me and dancing and stuff. So after we broke up, the only thing besides my friend, the only other thing that helped me get out of my depression was dance. Yeah. And then I had to learn to re-love myself the way I love somebody else. So that's when I created Dior Valentine.
There we go.
So with the Dior part, I was like, okay, everything here is, I'm thinking about money, big, and Dior is an expensive type of brand. Yes. So I was like, yeah, I like Dior. And at first I was thinking like Valentino. I liked this sound, but I was like, no, let's go Valentine, because I had to learn to love myself again.
I like that.
So anytime I'm stressed, it's always turned into like pole dance. I got a pole in the middle of my living room, because anytime I'm going through something, pole dance help me get through, because that's the only time I feel like I'm flying, I'm free, no stress. And it's weird, it's always related to cutting yourself. Yeah. Because pole hurts. If you don't know, have never tried it, pole hurts.
I have no idea.
I got scars, bruises, and everything. Yeah. I guess it's a way of feeling relief. Like, you know, wear yourself out, you go soak, and then restart the next day. Okay. I mean, that's how I look at it.
All right. That was a great explanation. We're going to take a quick break and get right back into it. I have a couple more questions for him. And we'll talk to y'all. Welcome back, guys. We're still here with Dior. Y'all make some more noise for him. He's been doing so well with his interviewing process. Even though, again, he was so nervous as a Gemini. I was so nervous to perform in front of the camera, which is so crazy that he's so nervous performing in front of the camera when he literally talked about just in the last segment about not being shy and
I never said shy.
Camera ready. You're used to being naked, for one. Still have you here, so that means you're still ready for another beating. Which is, y'all know I don't be beating people down with questions. I just be asking things to help accentuate them, to help them feel elevated. So, with that being said, so we talked about a lot of things in the first segment. We talked about your childhood, being humble. We talked about how you feel when you're on the pole, how the pole represents a lot of things in life. You get battle scars, you get back up, you pack them up and you get right back up there. So like, when it comes to you, when you have those moments in time where you have to patch yourself up, what's that process look like? Because whether it's on the pole in that arena or it's in life in general, like how do you deal with defeat or failure or just disappointment? How do you deal with that now as an adult?
I would say you're always faced with challenges. Sometimes you have to take those few steps back in order to move forward.
Right.
Like you gotta find out what you're missing out at. With me, people think my life is so interesting as a dancer, but it's actually hard.
Okay.
It's hard because you get the attention you want.
Yeah.
But you really want their attention? Like, yeah. And that's the hard part about it. I like the attention when you throw money, yeah. But as far as I go home alone, and I like my personal space, so that's the good thing. I like my personal space. And a lot of people think my life is so interesting because I get so much attention. They think I'm just living it big. Like I always have somebody in my beat. They don't work like that. Cause I don't know. People, I guess, obsessed with the fantasy of what you bring. Right. But the person outside of that fantasy is not the same person.
They keep forgetting, a lot of people forget that you're still human. And we talked about this on a lot of shows. You guys, all you Jigga Set watchers out there, we talk about having those boundaries. That's the big one, having boundaries, for one. Secondly, the other big one is identifying what you classify yourself as. So, introverted. One of your personalities is introverted. And when you are on that pole, that extrovert side comes out and performs. And then guess what happens when that performance is over? Go back to candid. And I want to be alone. Leave me alone. And so the people, because you are working in a certain venue, that's what they want to see, that side of you all the time. But how draining would that be if that side was on all the time? You will be starving your other side, right? Your other side will be depressed, for real.
I guess so. Even though I have fun being in Dior, it comes with ups and downs.
Of course.
Like, it comes with ups and downs. I would say to patching myself up, I just have to take a moment to escape from Dior, and that's when I get back into my regular personal side. My thing, I always soak. Okay. Listen to music with some candles and just vibe it out. Okay. Like, that's how, if I'm having a stressful day, pole ain't getting it, just take it a step back. Yeah. Okay. And try it again.
Okay. So, like, when you are, and I've seen you travel to meet the need, wherever it is, which is great. So when you don't have the pole to let out that energy, because even while you're performing, that's still an outlet for you, because you're able to perform, but able to also use that as a stress reliever. And when you're out of town and when you're done with your performance and you're out, when you're not in performance mode, right? What are you doing? Are you still taking those methods of the candle and the soaking and all that stuff? Do you have access to that? While, like, say, like you're in a hotel?
Oh, no, I ain't getting in a hotel.
Which I figured. That's all the hotels out there. But we be knowing. We know. Now everybody clean the same way. Our cleaning ladies and the cleaning men, do not clean all the same.
I'm sure they don't pay y'all nothing. I don't fault y'all, but.
So what would be the backup? I guess that's what I was getting at. So like when you're traveling, you may not have the same amenities. So what do you do to substitute during that time frame?
Most time if I'm traveling to dance.
Okay.
And I don't know, I just enjoy where I'm at for that moment.
Okay.
Like I'm always the at the moment type of person. Like
Gotcha.
I never try to plan too far ahead.
Yeah.
Cause it's always never go like how I would see it to go.
Gotcha.
Like I learned that when I was looking for colleges. Like I was planning on going to this college, and I ended up going to this one. So
yeah,
it was like I don't know. I just take it one day at a time when I'm away.
Yeah.
I enjoy the moment. I'm out of town. I'm not at home. I don't have to deal with stresses at home.
Okay.
I don't know.
And then when you get back home, that's when you go back into your routine. Gotcha. Okay.
Take a day or two. Get back.
There is a very infamous show that a lot of people know about, no matter what side of the communities you are on, which is P-Valley. And let's talk about P-Valley for a second, because there are a lot of references I can pull from P-Valley, and I can easily ask you, is this how you feel? Is there certain working with other people that are doing the same thing, or is there those same type of dramas? We'll take a step back. So P-Valley, is there that show? It is from the South.
It is.
Is it from Mississippi?
We don't talk like that.
Okay. Okay, because I was going with that one. Being from the South, I'm just leaving it in the South. The type of dancers, what they had to do. Do you say that there is any type of way that you can relate to the struggles as a dancer that you saw that came up during the show, and in your current life right now, your current lifestyle, do you see any similarities as far as the struggles in the show that were brought to light?
First of all, I want to say I love P-Valley. Y'all need to come up with 30 seasons. I'm not playing like y'all making us go back and watch everything all over again. But no, I understand. I would say P-Valley is pretty much spot on about the dance life, because it's a lot that goes on that a lot of people don't know about.
Right.
Between drug, alcohol, fights, it get crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And you also you also need to always know your whereabouts.
Absolutely.
If you ever decide to be a dancer, you need to go in there with a purpose. That's why I say Mercedes definitely have to be like I can see myself in her. She went in there, she was fighting to get to where she needed to be, and eventually you have to go through some things to get to where you want to be. And dancers are different than me. It ain't too many dancers that are nice. So I try to be as nice as possible until you cross me, but
right.
It's a lot go on.
Yeah.
It's pretty much spot on.
Okay.
So,
having situations to where we saw there were dancers in there that, like you said, you want to know what you're getting into before you become a dancer. Know your purpose, right? And so when you identify your purpose, like what resources or level of mentorship should one like go after, like to at least be able to fit in with the crowd or really elevate themselves to the next level? Do you encourage individuals that start off for the first time? Do you encourage them to seek mentorship or find someone that you really want to aspire to be or that really wows them? Do you encourage them to be under their wing, to grow with them, grow with that mentee or mentor rather, to be able to ascend to the next level? Or do you encourage, they can go the route like you did, assuming that you didn't have a mentor, right?
I did.
So like, how would you approach this now, knowing what you know as someone that does mentor, I'm assuming, right? Okay.
I wouldn't for me, I wouldn't change anything, because I always been the person that, for some reason, like people like to follow me. Like,
You're
which is not a bad.
You're a leader. That's a leadership quality.
It's not bad, but I would say like being a dancer, you gotta learn what works best for you. Cause what works for somebody else is not gonna work for you as well. Like me, when I went in, I was thinking like, okay, I get the pole dance. And then when I found out, okay, they like to see me ass shake. So I'm like, this was give me money, so this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes with a lot of consequences. People try to talk to me, and then I'm like, it's not gonna work. But hey, I would say just when you go in, stay alert. I wouldn't say get drunk or be like know where you at, know who you got around you,
right,
and go from there. Like, you'll figure out what works best for you, even if it means pole dancing. Some people talk the whole time, some people dance, some people got it, some don't. You know, if it ain't for you, hey. And I always tell like some of the newer dancers, like when they come into the clubs, I tell them, if you have to get so drunk that you don't know who you are, or get so high that you don't know where you are, to do it, it's just not for you. I understand that you need the money during the time, but just doing anything for it, it makes everybody else have to work hard, because I'm not selling my body. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm not selling my body. I don't care if I get in there. Like, I always appreciate the experience. Like, when I go out of town, I might not make the money that I think I'm gonna make, but at the end of the day, it's about the experience. I'm trying to put myself out there, my brand up, so people know who I am, and that's the big prize of it all.
Understood. That's real shit right there. When it comes to you being elevated, what's your next move? He done with his drink. If y'all didn't hear, he finished it. So what's the next move for you?
Next move for me, I still sell bookings, and I slow down on dancing just a little to give my body time to recoup. And then, like, with a new job, I don't have as much time that I did at first. So the next move for me is I'm in the process of launching my own business, trying to get my brand out there a little more.
How are you gonna do that?
Well, get my LLC.
Okay.
I'm already in the process. Everything's in working, business accounts and everything like that. I'm trying to open up my own pole studio.
There we go. That's what I was trying to get you to say.
And I still want to I want to have it like friendly for everyone. I have the pole. I want to have where they can have kid lessons or whatever. Let's say a mom, she just get off work and she ain't got nobody to watch her kids. She just picked them up from school. I want to have something in place for the kids too, so it can be like family friendly. Okay. Not just focus on one person.
Yeah, so you would want it to where maybe you have like daycare or something?
Not necessarily daycare. I want to have maybe like they're taking like a tumbling course, or they're taking like a stretch class, and have somebody certified enough to be able to teach them and keep the kids occupied as well. Even if that means like they help with their homework. Like they got that there.
Okay, so just being able to offer a wide variety of different things just to make just coming into the place just like a seamless experience for the adult that, like you said, just getting off of work and just want to release their frustrations or whatever their day on the pole, and then not having to worry about having to find a sit-up for an hour and a half or so. Just having it there, and then keeping them physically active, because where them kids are, when they go home, it makes it easier on the mom or the dad. Hey, cool, you can just go get your food and just go lay down. Just go sit down somewhere. But that's good, being able to incorporate not only the experience where it involves the kids, but as an adult, meeting them where they are in their lives.
Right.
And so even if it's just them being curious, or they actually want to get into this, but they don't know how to get into it with the current schedule they have, just being flexible enough to, like I said, meet them where they are.
Right.
So that's pretty dope. What would you say would be the biggest selling piece for opening up the studio? Like, all your experience that you've had in the clubs, the mentorship you've had, what do you want to really accentuate with opening up the studio?
Mainly, being an adult I ain't signing for this, y'all. I ain't signing to be an adult. But it's stressful, it's hard, because you still gotta, even when you're tired, you still gotta find that drive to keep pushing. Just imagine working out. People, like, when you become a parent, of course, I'm not a parent, but I have 2 dogs. And even with having responsibility like that, you always forget about yourself. Yeah. And some people, they wanna get fit, but they don't know how, they don't have the time. So you need something that's gonna work for both of y'all. Right. You need something that's gonna work for the kids. You need something that's gonna work for you as well. So I'm like, why not bring it together? Right. I mean, I have other plans up my sleeve, but...
And you don't have to talk about that right now. I just wanted to know, for the studio that's gonna coming down the pipe, like, for those that are, and we're gonna get this contact information, this follow information on the grams and all the other social medias of the world. But like, when people are like listening to or watching this interview, when it comes to fruition and you actually push through and actually achieve that, they're gonna watch this and be like, hey, he talked about it and it came to life. But I wanted people to know this was the action plan. This is what you wanted to do. This was your vision. Now you also mentioned earlier. You also mentioned earlier about you see something and then some things may change along the way. You have to adapt to it, which is a very important life lesson because that is life in general. Is that your phone going on? Yeah. Getting phone calls and things. But just, which is a really good point to point out, like when we're life and we have a certain vision of how we want our life to be, or a certain vision on how we want an event to run, a certain vision on how we want our relationships to go. And then when they don't go the way, what makes the person is how they deal with it. That's what makes or breaks the character of a person. So going further into your entrepreneurial journey, understanding and recognizing that at an early age, knowing that things can change and you know how to pivot, that's a great life lesson, life skill to have. Other thing I want to talk about is physical health. You mentioned that pole dancing does exert a lot of body strength. Would you be able to elaborate on what it requires for you when you're on the pole, when you're doing these events, when you're traveling? What level of fitness do you need to have in order to maintain or grow in the direction you want to, as far as doing certain stunts or just doing new routines? Where do you have to be physically to keep that going?
Most times, I would say it's adrenaline. I can practice all day by myself and not get nothing done. But the moment that I'm teaching someone else, or I'm out in front of a crowd, money's getting thrown, it's something else. Like adrenaline, I do pole moves that I ain't even did myself or practice on, and it hits like every time. Yeah. I don't know.
So the gym. So do you go to the gym? Really?
I don't.
That's interesting. Okay.
I do from time to time, but rarely. I start in the gym, I give it like a week, and then I be like, I'm sore, like I can't do it no more. But
you don't get sore when you're dancing the pole. You don't get sore.
I get sore, but it's lifting weight and stuff. That's a different. I don't know.
Yes, it's true.
But I'm also scared about my body physique changing because when I used to tumble, I started tumbling and I still got it. I was surprised because I gained 20 pounds, but I'm scared that my shoulders are gonna get too broad because every time you lift weights, you need to stretch as well. Yeah. And that's why I suck at stretching. I need to focus more towards stretch because there's some stuff that I used to be able to do. I'm like, I don't know if I can do that no more. Yeah. But your body is constantly changing when you pole dancing. So you just gotta keep working at it because you're gonna build strength regardless by pole dancing. So to me, like I hate a boring workout, and I think that's why I shy away from the gym a lot. Yeah. Because the gym is you stuck in this one place, you inside. It's boring. Most of the time you got your headphones in, you're not mingling. You just focus on doing your repetition and getting out. Yeah. When you pole dancing, you got a crowd, you got people around you that's doing the same thing you're doing, and it makes it interesting because we cheer for the people that hit the true pole moves. You might not get it the first time, but you come back the next day, you might get it. Yeah. It's all about being able to step away and come back and face it in a different approach. Okay. So I would say going to the gym, I don't know. It works for some people. I got this ideal with my body. I want my body to look like, but I know I got to put in the work, but I don't know.
It's really interesting.
It gotta be fun.
I get that. And if I were to be honest with you myself, I am not a person that enjoys going to just doing gym work just strictly like routinely, like 5, 6, some people 7 days a week. I don't enjoy that per se. I like doing other physical activities that allow me to still get the cardio in and build strength and whatever case is. That doesn't require me to be lay on a bench or pushing a machine around or whatever case is. I enjoy the flexibility and diversity of the whole journey. Right. So for you, it sounds like you get your energy from watching others trying to climb up the pole, essentially. All puns and no puns intended. Climb up the pole just like you do. And coming back and maybe falling down and just brushing it off and get right back up there. You enjoy seeing that.
I do. I like to see people like succeed. So like I always tell any of my students that I teach, my goal is to teach you to be better than me. And then you rarely hear that because a lot of people want to be the best. But I'm willing to push people past me. Even when it comes to tumbling, gymnastics, with my students, with any of my friends, any of my anyone that want to take pole with me. I don't care if we're dancing together. My goal is always to teach you to be better than me.
Yeah.
Because how I look at it, if I'm teaching you to be better than me, you get this far, they gonna be like, you learn how to do this, and you always gonna relate it back to me.
Exactly.
Especially if you're a good person, you got good love. I mean, but if you able to do, if you able to go to beyond, above and beyond, that's where you should be at.
Being able to put in the work. And I think that is an important life lesson, is being able to recognizing what work you got to put in and sticking to your guns, put it in. So before we wrap up, I definitely want you to talk about how people can follow you, how they can find you, and if you have any events coming up or any classes coming up or whatever, this is your time to shine.
Y'all can find me on all platforms, pretty much THE Dior Valentine, my bad.
Say it again for the Rosa Parks section.
Dior Valentine. And that's on Instagram, that's on TikTok. If you're looking for me on Facebook, if you old school, you can find me at Kendall D King.
Old school. This ain't Black Planet. You make Facebook sound so old now.
I've been having the same Facebook since 14. But yeah, you can find me on any platform at THEE Dior Valentine. If you need a class, you're trying to book a class, just DM me. I don't follow too many people back unless I know your intention is to learn pole. But I do appreciate all my fans and everyone that's following my journey. So already it's appreciated.
You guys make some noise for Dior Valentine for coming on the show. Thank you so much. We hopefully you guys learned a lot from him, even though his journey has been pretty short on this earth, but he has learned enough. Let me get it out, damn. He's learned so much to pass along to a lot of people that are seeking either advice on getting into that field, or they're just looking for a life lesson in general, like how to persevere and push forward. And you provided all that today. So thank you for not being nervous towards the end and allowing yourself to talk about yourself, which is a big thing. And now you can actually say you've been on a podcast before. Look at that. It wasn't so bad, was it?
I actually thought about it. I've been on the second one.
We're cutting. All right. Thank you guys for joining. I'll talk to you guys later.